Hiya, I'm Mika, and welcome back to Professor Layton and the Last. Nope. Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. We're going to talk to the mayor. There's a clown. I think this is it. Quite a marvelous building. Let's see if the mayor's task force is inside. Let's talk to the clown. Clown's always got something interesting to say. What's up, clown?
What am I? A clown? Doing down here at City Hall? Perhaps I should be voting on a proposal like the other clowns down here.
Let's not discourage voting, right? Voter turnout is pretty indicative, and honestly, democracy only really works. Whatever.
But alas, Lake, that is not my lot in life. I am resigned to entertaining the masses with shouts and hypnotic gesticulations.
Oh, unless you're talking about people inside there, like the politicians. And I guess it's fine to make fun of politicians, like we should be allowed to make fun of the powers that be. Really depends on like what kind of governing system the city has.
Miracles, masks, solve the mystery, stuff like that. Are you feeling entertained?
Oddly enough, Juggles, I am. Although I could watch this all day, I would rather end this moment immediately.
The life of a clown is a tiring one. The life of a circus clown even more so. The weight of the world's smiles is upon my shoulders.
Professor, I don't think I've ever seen a clown quite like this one. Nor I, but it seems that even a philosophical clown has a place in Montador. Have a pleasant day, Juggles. No puzzle. No puzzle from the clown. As I thought, it's the Montador City Hall. I expected more from the City of Miracles. Remember, Montador is still relatively young. Yeah, that's true. Just 18 years of age. Ooh, hint coin? Hint coin. Any chimneys? There's a chimney. No hint coin, though. Yeah, let's talk to the officer.
The task force briefing starts soon, but I think my partner is still investigating last night's crime scene.
I've told him time and time again that gathering evidence is a waste of time. What evidence there was has been compromised by now. You don't think it's important to look for clues concerning the statues incident? At this point, crowds of people have been contaminating the scene. Plus, we're not very good at investigating in the first place. This know-it-all detective from London and the chief can't agree on anything, and that other burly detective is just a meathead. A meathead? What's a meathead? The chief's words, kid, not mine. That's definitely Gracklesnack. Gracklesnack is surely here. I don't think the city hall would be this big. Sorry. Montador continues to impress. It appears as if the entire police department is here. I hope that's not the case. They do have a police station outside of town. It looks like they're taking the recent events very seriously. Yeah, man. Yes, it appears the masked gentleman is receiving the attention he craves. We didn't see many officers after the stone statue incident, so I think it's safe to say that the police aren't getting any advance warnings. I can understand if this villain has a grudge against the town, but targeting innocent people just isn't right. I agree, Luke. We need to get to the bottom of things as quickly as possible. Hello? The civil servants here look hard at work. I wonder how hard this job is. They have quite a bit to manage, I'm sure. Ain't that the truth? A lot of work to be done.
You are here. Here is City Hall.
Is the mayor in? We'd like to speak with him regarding the task force he assembled to investigate the masked gentleman.
I'm sorry, but you'll need the mayor's approval to talk to the task force. To get that approval, you need to see the mayor, which is what you just asked to do. I'll go see if he's available.
I appreciate you working that one out for me. Wow, I'm excited to meet the mayor. Managing a town like Montador must be a big responsibility. Maybe I'll be a mayor when I grow up. How does Mayor Luke Triton sound? Sounds like your father. Oh my. He's a kid. He could grow into the position easily. What? No. What's that? Free literature and tea. Don't mind if I do. It's refreshing to be treated to such excellent refreshments. But the tea's already gone cold. Oh, hello. Stamp and file, stamp and file. Every time the masked gentleman appears, the paperwork goes through the roof. All these officers, and they still can't catch the guy. What if I were that bad at my job? Just saying. How do they expect to solve crimes when they can't even solve this puzzle? A hat of tiles. You have a stack of tiles that are 3 by 3 in size. There are 3 colors, and each tile is a solid color. Use the available tiles and stack them on top to construct a hat like the one above. Yeah, okay. First things first, we definitely need to get these down here, right? Because then we need something like this going on. Except not yet. We need something like this going on. And then we just... we only need one overlap. So what if I do... no, that ain't gonna work. Get it here and here. Oh no, this is fine. This is fine, this is fine. And then we just fill out the space up here. Nope, you need to move one over. Get you here, get you right here.
I believe I have this one. An excellent puzzle.
I bet if someone watches through, and if I play through the entire Professor Layton series, someone is going to figure out what kind of intelligence I have. Like, there's such a variety of puzzles here. You did it! That's an expert tile laying right there. Because that was easy. That was easy as pie. Of course, it's supposed to be easy, right? The police can't solve this puzzle. That's some ordinary citizen can. No wonder this investigation is going nowhere. To be fair, the masked gentleman's actions are highly unpredictable. With safety as a top priority, it could be risky to try and take the masked gentleman into custody when he appears in a crowd. I've heard the excuses more times than you can imagine. Tell me why those people got turned into horses. Those people who got turned into horses are still out there grazing like cows, or people cows. Whatever, the task force is back in the meeting room. If you have the mayor's permission, go on in if you'd like. I bet she and Juggles would get along well. People are growing increasingly pessimistic here. It's tough to blame them. We need to catch the masked gentleman before he strikes again. I don't think we will. Yep, it's full of boring office details. Nothing to see here. Move along. I wonder what a quantity of work has piled up while I've been away. All these police officers do is stand around, eat scones, and talk about crickets. Are the crickets interesting? Hello.
Mayor Rich Bilson, how are you doing? A pleasure to see you again.
Oh, actually, I don't believe we've met. My name is Professor Herschel Layton, and I'm a friend of Angela Lador's. I'm Emmy Altava. I'm Luke Triton, the professor's apprentice. My colleagues and I are investigating the masked gentleman. We would like your permission to discuss the case with your task force.
Well, we could use some help, but we have a lot of sensitive information going around. How many puzzles have you solved so far? I see you are eminently qualified. Welcome back to the task force. To be perfectly frank, our investigation has been rather bumpy. The detectives from London and our local chief of police aren't getting along at all.
That is unfortunate.
I requested assistance from London, you know. I forgot the detectives' names, but they seem very capable.
Grosky! Not Gracklesnake.
The task force strategy meeting is about to begin. I hope some progress will be made. Please join in the meeting if you'd like. It sounds like the fighting has already begun. I would be grateful for anything you could do to defuse the situation.
Detectives from London? I wonder.
Just head into the briefing room back there.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Mayor Bilson. With that, I'll be on my way. I don't need to bother these busy people. It's movie time, and it is Grosky. Hey, a Gracklesnake.
Don't you sneak up on me like that! Who let a child in here?
I'm no child. I'm Luke Triton, apprentice to Professor Layton.
And also a child.
Ah, of course. Inspector Grosky. We should have known it was you. How did you get in here with all the competent police officers?
Damn, Emmy! We're just gonna say that shit out loud?
Emmy, how rude! If you're not careful, you might end up hurting my feelings.
Damn, Grosky. Got that concrete street skin.
Guess I'll have to turn to my arrest record at Scotland Yard to cheer me up.
An arrest record doesn't mean much if you aren't, correct often. Anyway.
And how many of those arrests came with the professor's help? About half?
Yeah, I suppose that sounds about right. Good to see you too, Emmy.
Professor Layton, I presume. Detective Inspector Leonard Bloom, Senior Detective at Scotland Yard.
Nice to meet you, Bloom.
That's quite the title. Herschel Layton, how do you do?
Wow, this must be a really big deal to dispatch two of Scotland Yard's finest.
Scotland Yard needs help.
I guess so.
I wonder how the local police feel about bringing in external help.
How did all these people get into my briefing room? Who are these civilians? Where's my tea?
Oh my god, you're a brick. Not even a brick house, you're just a brick. You're a brick with arms.
Chief Sheffield, may I introduce Professor Herschel Layton?
Oh, you just met us. You don't gotta introduce us. We can do that ourselves.
Scotland Yard has solved many difficult cases with his assistance.
Oh, okay. Cool. Then you are familiar with my work. Yeah.
I assure you, any help he can offer will be invaluable to us.
Damn straight.
All right then. Just make sure he doesn't get in the way.
It depends on if the police are working with the bad guys again. If you are, I'm gonna get in the way. That's the nature of the thing. But otherwise, I think you'll be pretty fine.
Now, if we're done with the pleasantries. I'd like to get on with solving this case.
Grosky runs rampant has been added to the professor's trunk.
Let's get this meeting started before I turn grey. Too late.
No.
If you have anything to think of, get to it and tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'll just want to look around, talk to some folk. That's definitely Brickman. They don't want to talk. Grosky wants to talk. Bloom wants to talk. Hint coins in the light bulbs. Hint coins in the light bulbs. Let's see, where else? A chalk thing over here? Hell yeah. Projector? That's probably just him again. Alright. Let's talk to this Bloom fella. If you finish your business, please let the Chief Sheffield know, and I'll get started. Alright, cool. Grosky? Got any business? Got any business?
How long is this meeting ought to last?
Ooh, a little bit of southern in there. I don't think that was intentional.
Maybe we should all run in place if we're going to be here a while. Fitness first,
Says the man who looks like he perpetually skips leg and arm day. You should try jogging your mind, Grosky. Hey, let's begin the briefing. Let's
get this meeting started before the... Nobody better have to go to the loo.
I don't even think I have access to a loo.
Let's not drag this out any longer than we need to. Grab a seat and sit in it.
So many different looking police officers. I thought their uniforms made them all look the same. Then again.
Bloom, the floor's all yours.
Please, if you would give me your attention, then perhaps I could help you apprehend the masked gentleman. Since you have proven yourselves to be astoundingly ineffective thus far, we've brought in some extra brain power to expose the truth behind these dark miracles.
Good job, Luke.
This masked buffoon has made 4 appearances. We will now dissect each one carefully.
We must demystify the masked gentleman's actions in order to fully analyze this case. We have a special guest here. His skills of deduction are unparalleled. Professor Layton, do you have anything to add? Yes, we have been investigating the masked gentleman on our own. Where shall I begin? Let's begin with the most bizarre. Do you have any information on the horse incident? I've been able to gather very little on that incident specifically. However, I understand that there were witnesses. Indeed, perhaps we should fill you in on what we know. Please do. Have you seen the statements we took from the witnesses at the scene? No, but I'd like to if you don't mind. Puzzle? Ooh, alright, let's go. I'll summarize the confirmed witness statements as they relate to the evidence recovered at the scene. The event occurred at night. The carnival's parade was in full swing. Just like the statue. As the parade approached a bend in the road near the merchant district, the masked gentleman appeared. I assume there was a large crowd. Yes, as was expected, no doubt. A flash of light appeared in the sky and the masked gentleman was seen on the ledge of a building. Pretty standard affair so far. According to the reports, the light then grew in intensity to the point of temporarily blinding the onlookers. Okay, yeah. When the light subsided, it appeared that some of the onlookers had been transformed into horses. Only a few personal effects were left behind. The bodies of the tourists could not be found. Inspector Bloom, do you have a theory as to what happened that night? I do. Please allow me to confirm a couple of items before we continue. The parade here always happens at the same time, correct? Yes, it starts at 8 p.m. Were you able to confirm the identities of the tourists who were transformed? No. Oddly enough, the tourists' belongings contain no forms of identification. Thank you, Detective Bloom. Looking at the information at hand, I believe the truth is clear. The masked gentleman obviously tricked witnesses into believing people had been turned into horses. There was one essential element to his manipulation of the crowd. Which key element was necessary for the masked gentleman's trick to work? The colors in the parade, the weather, or the time of the parade? I mean, the time of the parade is pretty important. You can't blind people with light when it's pretty bright out. It'd take a lot of effort to do that, so I think the time of the parade is pretty important. It was already dark by the time the parade began. It's much easier to pull off a trick of the eyes at night. I agree, Layton. It's much more likely that an audience will miss something under a night sky. Several witnesses reported that they saw the tourists actually transform. I, however, am not a believer in the dark equine arts. Why couldn't the witnesses have seen the tourists actually transform? Their eyes were closed because of the bright light? There were no tourists. It was too bright. By the time the horses appeared, the onlookers would have closed their eyes. Exactly. Against the night sky, the human eye would be quite sensitive to the blinding light that was reported. The masked gentleman temporarily blinded those present to cover his actions. Horses were then immediately brought in as the so-called tourists left. But if that's true, then there is still one thing left to explain. Where could the horses have been hidden? It would have to be in nearby alleyways, because it seems like it's such a short turnaround. Where could the horses have been hidden? I'm either thinking nearby alleyways or the museum, because the museum was shut down at that point, I believe. It's going to be impossible to get a horse up and down through the sewer grates. I think it has to be in the nearby alleyways. The nearby alleyways. One could hide them down various alleys and quickly bring them out into the plaza. Well done, Layton. I see your reputation is well earned. So if I may summarize, first, it seems that the location of the act was key. The plaza is surrounded by several dark alleys. Due to a bend in the road, the area isn't fully visible until you enter it. Just before the event, everyone was absorbed in the parade. No one was paying attention to the alleys. A bright light suddenly appeared and blinded the crowd. At that moment, the horses were drawn from the alleys. Then, people disguised as tourists left behind some belongings and hid somewhere, possibly back in the alley. Once the witnesses had regained their sight, they saw horses everywhere. Exactly. But there's no evidence supporting the notion that the masked gentleman had accomplices planted in the crowd. That's true, but isn't it suspicious that the personal belongings found at the scene contained no forms of identification? Also, they had been tourists. Their families would have undoubtedly filed missing person reports. Agreed, that was my conclusion as well. Alright, Bloom. I see you.
What? So the masked gentleman's dark miracle was just some stupid parlor trick?
How many meetings have you had? Yes, Chief Sheffield. I'm sorry to inform you and your simpletons that it was not actually magic, simply a well-executed illusion. I don't like that tone, Bloom. Take a break, folks. Bloom and I are gonna have a few words. Layton, find me when I'm done. It's reassuring to have you here. I felt like I'm the only rational one in this town. Sheffield is as calm as he's going to get. Please let him know when you are ready to continue. Classic, very Layton-esque. I can't wait to hear you explain the next one. Oh, I'm down. I want to explain the next one. We might go a little long, but I am here for it. I want to get started on the next one. I'm interested to see what you think about the incident at the museum. What do you know so far? We have reports of people jumping out of some paintings at the museum and defacing property around town. Ridiculous. Alright, let's go. These individuals vandalized the area. More than that, witnesses said these oddly dressed folks destroyed property, broke windows, nearly started a riot. Then they disappeared just as quickly as they appeared. Did anyone actually see these people come out of the paintings? No, the museum was closed by then. Easy enough. So why do people think these individuals came out of the paintings? Well, apparently they were dressed just like people in some of the paintings that were displayed in the museum. Down to the finest detail. And when we checked the museum, we saw that the paintings were empty. What do you mean, empty? I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it. All the people in the paintings were gone. Only the backgrounds were left. Pretty sick. Interesting. The key here must lie in the paintings themselves. That's what I thought, but we've thrown our best men at these paintings and haven't found a thing. Allow me to ask a few questions. Were the paintings in question from a common source? That seems pretty relevant. Were the paintings from a common source? Yes, according to the museum's curator, they were all donated earlier that day. That's some horse. Of course it's gonna be easy to... whatever. The majority of them were famous portraits that came from an anonymous donor. That can't be a coincidence. Probably not. Whoever donated those paintings must be considered an accomplice to this. We looked into it, but nobody has any information on the donor. We interrogated the entire museum staff, and they all checked out clean and ignorant. A lot of time spent and nothing learned. Plenty learned. We must understand how the illusion was created in order to find the truth. Were these paintings... ooh. Oddly shaped, strangely packaged, or unusually framed? Given the artistic depiction of the painting shown earlier, probably not oddly shaped. Strangely packaged. Now that could be interesting. I don't know what the frame has to do with it necessarily. I'm gonna go with strangely packaged. Were the paintings oddly packaged? The curator did say they were all vacuum sealed. He said that type of care was usually reserved for very rare items. I believe the airtight packaging is the key. The portraits were sealed when they arrived, and the frames came in thick metal cases. The museum staff was surprised that replicas required so much secure packaging. We didn't think much of it. If my theory is correct, the donation must have included specific display instructions. Did the instructions specify lighting conditions, where to display them, when to display them? lighting conditions could make for tricks of the eye and stuff like that. When to display them would also be like really relevant for when the people jump out of the paintings. Did the paintings come with any specific lighting instructions? No lighting instructions. Once displayed, they were lit just like everything else in the museum. Alright, cool. So when to display them, then? I don't think where is particularly relevant. Were there instructions about what time the paintings needed to be placed on display? Why, yes, actually there were. Your deductive skills are impressive, Layton. The crates arrived in the morning, with instructions to be displayed exactly at noon. How did you know that? Well, therein lies the trick. The illusion was created by hallucinogenic gas. No? The people were hidden in the frames. The frames weren't thick enough to hold a human body. Vanishing paint. Vanishing paint would be pretty sick, actually. The portraits were treated with a special paint that evaporates when exposed to air. Does such a thing even exist? That's my question. Have you ever noticed how sunlight can cause the colors of a painting to fade? In a similar way, it's possible to create chemically reactive paints that will turn transparent when exposed to air. Of course, you could make anything in the painting look like it just disappeared. The chemical process would have to run its course, so the timing must be precise. The seals were removed so the paint turning transparent would coincide with the appearance of the vandals. The masked gentleman had these vandals dress up like the people in the portraits. Genius. Or insanity. It could be both. That one was a little rougher. Got a little touchy there around the edges. But Layton, we have no evidence to back this theory of yours. Well, I doubt such paint would disappear completely without a trace. If you examine the paintings for chemical residue, I'm sure you'll find outlines from where the paint turned transparent. Fascinating. Well, we'll see what we find. Good work, Layton. Another one down. Let's take a break. I would like to take a minute to think about this. I give breaks around here, Bloom. Alright, take 5, everyone. Layton, let me know when you're ready to continue. I don't want to stop. I'm going. Alright, let's get to it, guys. Inspector Grosky, the floor is yours. Right, Layton, let's take another look at these dark miracles. The next one's a real doozy. Excuse me, I was drinking water. Remember to drink water. Do it. Drink water, motherfucker. Do it. Well, if it's anything like the first two, it's not a miracle at all. Yes, but none of the other ones involve people being engulfed in flames. Ooh, that's fun. That is true. They do have unique vibes. This all began last Sunday morning. "13 citizens received a threatening letter from our masked you-know-who." Miscreant. Just say miscreant. It reads as follows. "If you value your life, come to the Gallery Plaza this afternoon at 1 o'clock. He also took out an ad in the paper. "Dark miracles seeking Gallery Plaza. No more games. Meet me at 1 p.m. Quite a bold move, making an announcement like that. Yes, the plaza was packed with tourists and local citizens alike. We have a transcript of his little performance here. Welcome, good people of Montador. I am the masked gentleman. 13 of you received a special invitation to be here." The masked gentleman didn't show himself. Only his voice was heard in the front of was heard in front of a tent that was set up there. Just before 1 p.m., part of the tent was dropped to reveal the 13 invitees. How far away was the stage from the audience? We don't have that exact information. Not far, but not close either. So then the clock struck 1. Boom! All 13 people burst into flames. Apparently the flames burnt brightly, peaked, and were immediately gone. The flames were gone. Yes, gone. No more. Burnt themselves out to ashes and blew away, probably. That's not a miracle. That's a public execution. But it wasn't. All 13 people were later found at home, completely unharmed. I don't understand. No one does. All 13 were just as confused as we were. They remember going to the plaza, but nothing after that. Did you check under the stage? Maybe the 13 people hid under it during the fire. The stage was completely destroyed by the fire. Nothing was left but ashes. I'm going crazy racking my brain here. It's like they were trying to bench press a car. It's like trying to bench press a car. I'm so close, but I can't quite get it. Are the investigation officers present? Investigating officers?
Yes, sir. I took witness statements and interrogated all 13 individuals, sir.
I have a few questions for you.
All 13 people were handpicked by the masked gentleman. Were they... We'd have no way of knowing if they were his accomplices. It would be interesting if they knew each other. But certainly their occupation is important here. Were all of them magicians?
I don't know, sir. I didn't ask if they were magicians.
Alright, cool, fine. Did they know each other? Were they friends by any chance? Not exactly, but now that you mention it. Yes? I thought maybe they worked out together or something. They all went to the same gym. Ooh, hoo-hoo. Well, this is news to me. None of them looked like they could even lift a gym. I don't think it was that significant. I mean, that was their only connection. A coincidence of fitness, Layton. I don't believe in coincidences. Did any of the witnesses see? People get on stage, the people hide the masked gentleman. Yeah, did anyone see them get on the stage? Did anyone see the 13 people take the stage in the center of the plaza? I thought that was strange too. No one saw the tent go up, or anyone enter it. It sounded like the tent was just there. So the invitees got on stage without being seen by anyone. In the middle of the day, no less. Yes, very strange. I'm curious about one other thing. Fire away. Fire? No, never mind. Were their clothes the same at home? Were the clothes they were wearing on stage different than what they were wearing at home when you questioned them? Huh? Well, I don't know. Is there any way to find out? I can take a look at the photos. Just give me 1 second. 1. What are you thinking, Layton? We might have something here. Oh, Professor, sir. All of their outfits were different. What? All 13 of them? That's... Well, I don't know what that means. We've got photos that some tourists took at the scene, and every one of those 13 were wearing different outfits at home. What could that possibly... Oh, I think I've got it. Yes, I've solved it. Don't hurt me, Inspector. What is it?
The victims' clothes burned up on stage, and they all ran home naked to change. Grosky? Well, I don't hear any other brilliant ideas. Stop smirking, Layton. What is it? I wasn't smirking. My mouth was just thinking. Inspector, I don't believe our 13 victims ever left their homes. Have you lost your mind, Layton? Hundreds of people saw them on that stage. Allow me to explain. All 13 people received a letter, correct? That's right. Was it just one letter? I believe that there was a second letter that gave instructions to not leave home, possibly with a reward for doing so. This letter probably contained instructions to show only the first letter to the police, under threat of some horrible consequences. But they were in the plaza, on that stage. Actually, there is no evidence of that. I believe they were expertly crafted, highly combustible mannequins on that stage. How do you figure that based on what they were wearing? Someone stole their clothes in advance. From the gym, of course. Some of them said they had been victims of theft recently, but I didn't think anything of it. Hang on. While the invitees were safely at home, the masked gentleman burned their likenesses as others watched in horror. The crowd was already convinced that he could perform miracles, so it only took some rudimentary pyrotechnics. That's preposterous! Layton, I think your perfect streak ends here. Professor Layton, you're right. I found a second letter in the evidence bags. Great work, Professor. No one thought to look inside the envelope afterwards. I'm always happy to cast some light on a dark miracle. Ooh, the plot thickens, baby. Absolutely brilliant, Professor Layton. We don't have much information on the statue incident, but when we get something, I'd like to speak with you. Who knows? Now that we are on to some of the masked gentleman's methods, perhaps we can solve this one ourselves. I have faith in your team, Detective. Well, at least we know that this villain is just a big phony. He's flesh and blood like the rest of us. Yeah, we don't know that yet. I knew it all along. I know this masked fool's tricks. He can run, and he can hide, but he can't run and hide from Grosky of the Yard. I'm coming for you, maskhead face. Well then. I'm really sorry about him. No matter how many times we discuss this, it doesn't seem to do any good. He's quite excitable. Inspector Grosky and I will continue to investigate the scene of the statue incidents once he calmed down. Professor Layton, let's reconvene once our officers have finished searching the scene. Yes, in the meantime, Emmy, Luke, and I will continue our own investigation. Meeting adjourned. Professor Layton, any new revelations since we last spoke? Unfortunately, no. We suspect the masked gentleman is a tourist. We're checking hotel records for those who have been here for the month. Hundreds of people fit that description. I guess that's to be expected in a place like Montador, but it's a start. I imagine it has been difficult to find many specifics about the culprit. Yes, this town situation is unique. The carnival certainly isn't helping. With so many wearing either a mask or a costume, everyone is a suspect. Sheffield won't stop going on about keeping the public safe, but he won't accept that the public is in danger if we don't work together. If you come across anything, please let me know. Remember, I'm in charge here. I need to get back to the investigation if I'm to find anything before he does. Well, Detective Bloom and Chief Sheffield have an interesting working relationship. Certainly.
Hint coin. There's a hint coin somewhere in here? Light, 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 records, door, officer, window. Projector? It's a standard model slide projector. Like the ones they use in theaters. The ones they use in theaters must be bigger than this. If I had to choose between projections or photos, no contest. Oh. These desks are plain, but not without merit. After a few hours, your backside really starts to hurt on these. Somebody stuck chewing gum under the desk. Clipboard. Officers. Ossifer. You said there was a hint coin here, Senor Ups. Whatever. Can I have a little conversation about next steps?
Layton, I just heard. Stupendous. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for your help.
It was nothing, Maya.
Oh, it was? Never mind then. Wait, it was definitely not nothing. The police said you debunked our dark miracles. This means we can reopen the art museum. The curator will be thrilled. Maybe you could stop there so he can thank you in person. I heard we've received some new art donations. I'll personally see to it that they're checked for vanishing paint.
You reopen the museum, Professor? Always happy to do something for the fine arts. Perhaps we should continue our investigation with a museum visit. I never thought I'd be so excited about going to a museum. Behind the bureaucracy has been added to the professor's trunk. Thank you guys very much for watching. Remember to take care of yourselves, and tomorrow's another day. I hope to see you then.
Bye.